Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and this is a word of caution regarding watching pick a card love readings. So while there is nothing inherently wrong with wanting to know where you stand with the love interest on your mind, the reason why you're wanting to know where you stand with them matters greatly, as it can greatly impact your mental and emotional well-being. So a very good question to ask yourself when it comes to why you're watching pick a card love readings is, am I simply curious or am I actually clinging? Holding on to hope isn't always a good thing, especially if it's keeping you stuck in limerence or in codependence. The last thing I want to do is to enable limerence and codependence with the content that I create. I want to help you create a life in which you're truly thriving, not keep you stuck in survival mode. And I know how it all works because I've been there. So this is where grace, knowledge, understanding, and compassion come in. It's okay if the only way you're able to self-soothe in this moment is by way of participating in coping mechanisms, distractions, and the like. As long as you're also doing yourself a favor by learning how to heal the wounding that has been fueling any limerence and or codependent patterns that you might have. My promise to you is that as you heal the wounding, your dependency on your SP, which means specific person, aka the person on your mind, or your ex, will begin to dissolve naturally, to the point where you're not even curious about what they're thinking and how they're feeling about you anymore. I know this to be true from personal experience. When you're ready to start healing the wounding, I have some amazing resources to get you going. My personal recommendation is to start with 2 videos, how to stop manifesting separation, and then the other one is called Releasing the Wants. Both videos will be linked in the description box below. My heart is always with you guys, and with that I bid you more happy viewing. Love, Michelle. What is going on, Pile 1? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. We are doing another pick a card love reading. We are tapping in and channeling through messages from your person. All right, so just keep in mind it's a general collective love reading. So whatever resonates, take it, run with it, claim it if it's something you're wanting to claim. If something isn't quite landing or it's not resonating, just drop that bit of information or that message and leave it behind for whomever it might be resonating with, okay? I got personal readings available if you want me to tap exclusively into you and your person's connection. All the booking details can be found in the description box below. Go check them out. There's a lot of readings available in the specific person category, and there's many of them are just $25, okay? So, yeah, go see what you need. Go see what you want, Pile 1. You guys are drawn to, let's see, the Sunset Sodalite. So there could be something here about communication. There could be, this message might feel urgent to your person too, with the mix of both the fifth, what is it called, the throat chakra and the sacral chakra. There may be a lot of passion your person's wanting to communicate to you. Let's find out the overall message here. We've got dance with celebration, and you guys were drawn also to the rejection card, but we'll see what this is, everything's got to say. So we got dance and celebration, which can be about, you know, just kind of allowing yourself to be in the present moment, giving yourself a reason to dance, a reason to celebrate. Even if there isn't reason to, it's just like tapping into that energy within. And there's always something to celebrate whenever you're able to fully surrender to the present moment, even if there is sadness, right, in the present moment. When you're really in the present moment, even underneath all whatever sadness and pain might be there, you can still tap into that inner joy, that inner peace. And so an overall message coming through right now, Pile 1, from your person is like, you know, maybe a message for you to maybe not be so over analytical when it comes to things. Maybe, you know, you have a tendency to overthink and overanalyze. You know, maybe you have an ability and the tendency to read between the lines. Your person overall is saying like you're not able to really enjoy the beauty that's in the present moment because you're too busy analyzing it, thinking about it, picking it apart and stuff like that. We also have the Six of Swords here, the Death in the reverse, and then we have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, something about rejecting the present moment, not being able to just kind of kick back and accept things as they are, or not being able to let things unfold naturally. Let's see. There's also a dance and celebration, your person talking about, you know, injecting a little bit more lightheartedness into things, not taking things so seriously. They might see you as having a tendency, and it's not the strongest of energies. Overall, it's more like, you know, you're picking everything apart, and in doing so, it's like you're taking the magic out of, you know, out of everything, possibly out of, you know, what could be a beautiful bond in this connection. Let's see. Pile one's person, what are their messages to pile one? Tell me more about this message to pile one. I'm hearing that song by Lenny Kravitz, Baby in a Over Till It's Over. So some of you might be projecting, whether you realize this or not, you might be, and this could be subconscious, you could have this thing about always bracing yourself for emotional impact, being hurt, being blindsided. And what that's doing is it's almost that fear, projecting that fear, you know, fear of abandonment, fear of being left behind, fear of things being over, is actually kind of bringing that future to pass. There's something in your behavior that is coming through in a sense of like you're fearing something happening, and it's becoming kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Not that your person is like throwing in the towel. That's not the energy at all. What they're wanting, the energy and the message that's coming through is they're wanting you to stop, you know, let's get their messages out. I've already pretty much said what their overall message is. Living single. Yeah. That might be what the contention is here. Your person may, let's get a couple more. Their overall message to pile one. For some of you, especially if you're not talking to this person, there isn't like, there's kind of saying like, you're the one that left me. Okay. And there is kind of an energy here of that being true. Now, whether they walked away in the physical, it's like you abandoned the connection before they actually walked away from it. Because from the way they're seeing it and energetically the way it's coming out, you're almost coming from the space of like, I'm going to leave, you know, pile one. You're saying like, I'm going to leave my person before they can leave me. And this may have been happening at a very, you know, a very subconscious level where you may have been acting out, pushing your person away, being very combative, stuff like that. Let's get one more. And your person is saying here that they're not necessarily done with this connection. They're not quite sure what to do with it though, because we do have, I'm afraid it won't work out underneath Death in the reverse. And so a literal message that's coming through, they don't want things to be over between the two of you. They don't want this to be it. They don't want this to be the end of your guys's, you know, like your guys's chapter. They don't want to close the book on this connection, but what they're afraid of is that it's just not going to work out anyway. And so, you know, and remember, any of this can be flipped, okay? Your person may be doing the same thing to you. That you guys could be mirroring each other a lot. It's like, you know, there could be very much a runner-chaser dynamic, and both of you guys could take on either role. Because we do have I'm living single here. So this is either literal, like the two of you are broken up, you're not together anymore, but you still might be staying in contact, or this is just kind of how, you know, one or both of you might be behaving. There might be a spoken commitment, but for some reason it's like the actions are not following up or mirroring the words that are being spoken. And you know, there is kind of a call here, like, you know, is there any way that you might have been contributing to that cycle with your person? Because I am kind of seeing a back and forth going on between the two of you, pile one. You might be holding back key parts of yourself in fear of being rejected. Again, a lot of this could be subconscious. You may not even notice that this is playing out, but it's like if you'll slow down and notice, you know, you might see where you have also been contributing to the mental and emotional distance, or maybe even the physical distance that's playing out in your guys' connection. Okay, let's get one more. We also have you make me feel like royalty. On the bottom of the deck, we have your everything I've always wanted. Yeah, your person is coming through like, you know, get out of your head, pile one. It's you, right? But you may have some fears or something going on beneath the surface you may not even be aware of, where it has you preparing for abandonment, preparing for this thing with your person to be over. And, you know, that could be looking like, you know, wanting to spend a lot more time with your person. But when you get to that point, you know, little things might aggravate you. You might be irritated and, you know, you might lash out to your person, or there could be, you know, the inability, if you guys do have certain things in the past, like you're not able to get over some of those things in the past and fears keep popping up. And it's like, you know, something about your guys' connection could really trigger your nervous system. And a lot of the times when our nervous system is triggered, you know, if there isn't really something for the nervous system to be like, hey, look, there's a reason for that, right? It'll make something up just out of nowhere. All of a sudden, you know, you'll start questioning things that you hadn't questioned before. And that's because, you know, it really is kind of coming out, pile one. You might be a little bit on the avoidant scale too. If not full on avoidant, you could be more on, what do they call that? Anxious, or yeah, anxious, avoidant, disorganized. Well, you're kind of like both sides of the scale, right? But your person is wanting to hang on to this connection because when things are good between you, they're really good, right? Because your person is acknowledging you do make them feel like royalty. You know, they like the way that you make them feel when you're not feeling triggered, you know, by them and or by, you know, the connection with them. And so their message to you, pile one, overall, is they really want you to get out of your head when it comes to them and to the connection. And if that's something that's difficult for you to do, then obviously there might be some shadow work. You know, there might need to be some clearing out of whatever triggers might be activating, you know, the fight or flight modes within your nervous system. Because your person they don't want to throw the towel on, you know, in on this connection. They're just afraid like it's not going to end up working out. Tell me what's going on with the Six of Swords here in living single. You know, this might be your person explaining like the current distance that's between you two of you. It's like, you know, there's almost like a peaceful separation or a peaceful divide happening, you know, and the two of you are living single. This can talk about your person. If that's the case, this can talk about your person maybe wanting to come together, have some kind of a conversation, talk things over, because there is, you know, messages coming through, pile one. They don't want this to be the death of your guys' connection. They don't want this to be, you know, closing the book on your guys' connection. They don't want, you know, your guys' story. They don't want your guys' story to be done, right? They don't want this to be the ending. They are hanging on, but they do have doubts and they do have some fears. Tell me about the Six of Swords and living single. Yeah, they just, you know, they want you to feel confident. They want you to feel secure, especially with them and within this connection. And part of that is learning how to, you know, reframe things, revise the way that you see things and perceive things. And a large part of that is going through and doing the shadow work that releases any kind of emotional charges to, you know, existing stories. I'm getting probably a little bit too technical, but, you know, I do have another channel that teaches how to do that, right? That way those triggers no longer exist. And when a trigger no longer exists, you know, space between you and your person is able to be filled with, you know, energies that are magnetizing and unifying, as opposed to the energies that now seem to be filling up the space between the two of you that are repellent and, you know, maybe full of tension or friction or chaos or conflict, okay? That's what they want. You know, they're saying if you would embody this Queen of Wands energy, she's magnetic, she's full of herself, but in a good way, right? She's full of her magnetic energy. She's full of her confidence. She's full of that passion and stuff like that. It's like, you know, you might have passion, but it might be operating in the opposite direction when it comes to this person. And they're like, you know, if you could authentically embody this Queen of Wands energy, it's like the two of you would be like magnets to each other, right? As opposed to what's happening now. Tell me about your everything I've always wanted at the bottom of the deck. Oh yeah, your person's not wanting to go anywhere, period. And that might be a fear that you have, pile one, that your person is wanting, like that might be a message they're really wanting to drive home to you. You know, whether you realize it or not, you could have a very deep-seated fear of being left behind, being rejected, not being chosen, being abandoned, things like that. And your person is really wanting you to work on those fears and those doubts, because it is, you know, oh, and then look at the bottom of the deck, King of Wands. They see you guys as being like a perfect match. This is how they genuinely see you and your connection. But there's something going on with you, pile one, where, yeah, you doubt that. And it's not that, you know, you doubt your person's intentions towards you. It's like you have trust issues. And again, you know, you could be coming through in this energy of like, even if it is subconscious, like I gotta leave my person before they leave me. All right, pile one. Yeah, that was your reading. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. If you got from this reading what you came here for, take a moment, if you would. Smash the like button for me. It's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below. Let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it resonated. Become part of the family. If you want to, simply by subscribing. Don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. And pile one, I'll see you guys at your next Pick a Card Love reading. Bye, guys. What is going on, pile two? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. We're doing another Pick a Card Love reading. We are tapping in, channeling your person's messages to you. Just keep in mind it's a collective general love reading, so whatever resonates, you know, claim it if it's something you're wanting to claim. If it's something that's not quite landing, just drop that bit of information or that message and leave it behind for whomever it resonates with, all right? I got personal readings available. If you want me to tap exclusively into you and your person's connection, just check the description box below. All the booking details are there. And there's a lot of readings available in the specific person category. Many of them are just $25. Let's see. Pile two, you guys were drawn to the Malachite stone along with the Heartbreak card. I'm hearing something about breaking your own heart. Or someone here in this connection is breaking their own heart. We'll see who that's in reference to. Someone's defenses are up, or feels like they need to put their defenses up. When it comes to this connection, we'll see like who's who, whose energy is who. Yeah, because I'm over here wanting to put on some Florida water. Okay, let's find out. Ooh, I love the smell of Florida water. For everybody that's got psychic smell here, tap in. You smell that? It smells good, doesn't it? Like orange and cinnamon and all kinds of cool stuff. All right, we have Gaia with nurturing for the overall message that your person is wanting to say to you. We also have this, yeah, look at the Seven of Wands. Someone's got their defenses up. It could possibly be because there is some confusion going on. Something, and then we have the World. Notice we got 2 sevens here, the 7 of Wands and the 7 of Cups, and then we also have the World, which is the number 21, which is, 7 times 3. And so we have 5 sevens basically being represented here, and the number 5 itself is challenges, right? There could be some challenges here. We'll find out what direction the world is going in. Let's see where your person, how they're contributing to this energy. Pile 2's person, show me the energy that Pile 2's person is in as it relates to their message to Pile 2. Okay, they might be the ones, yeah. Let's see, breaking their own heart here. Or, let's see. Wow, this couldn't get like any more direct. We have I'm distracted showing up right underneath the 7 of Cups. And then we have let's spend quality time together, but it's showing up underneath the World. Haunted by the past showing up at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, okay. That's making a little bit more sense here. So it's your person that is getting in their own way here, or they got in the way of this connection. And when it comes to like that message where someone here is breaking their own heart, I mean, that could be true for you as well. There might be a need here for something in this connection to have to wrap up, or for cycles to end or something like that. Let's find out. Let's look at the book as it pertains to Gaia nurturing. All right, so the book says for Gaia nurturing, receiving can be a sacred act if your intention is to honor spirit. It is as holy as giving when performed with a humble and open heart. This is even truer when receiving much needed nurturing, so let others give to you. It may be a stretch to do so at times because of childhood conditioning, but that habit can be overcome. Your person had a hard time receiving whatever it is you were giving. So there's an imbalance here coming through. Someone here gave more than what the other person was giving back. That largely feels like you were on the giving end, Pile 1, and your person was on the receiving end. But the only thing is they weren't really able to receive it. And so it's almost like, like pouring into a cup, but there's a lid over that cup. And so you were spending a lot of time and energy and effort and resources into somebody whose lid, they had that cup covered. And so, yes, you were expending that energy, but it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't doing anything. They have all the seeds and stuff like that within that cup that had they received your water, so to speak, your nurturing, your energy, your gift, it would have been able to create some kind of a harvest here, but that didn't happen. Okay. And it was your person that was, kind of at fault. Okay. But I mean, it just depends. I don't know how long it took you to understand and realize that what you were pouring into wasn't able to receive. Right. And so hopefully it didn't take too long. Where were we at? Okay. It says your wounds can be healed. One way to achieve this is to nurture yourself and allow others to nurture you. Yeah. They weren't able to receive that. They weren't able to receive compassion, compliments, like really receive them. Some people can kind of on the surface accept things and it may even look like they receive things, but it's not, there's just kind of like a lid over their heart space. They're not allowing feelings to come in or go out here. They have a problem with receiving, or at least somebody in this connection does. All right, the book goes on to say, consider the actions you take that are self-nurturing. What comes to your mind when you really think about doing beneficial things for yourself? Set aside your ritualized habits and beliefs that restrict the pure act of allowing your body, heart, and soul to be nurtured. Lie on the earth and ask Gaia to rock you in her bosom as you breathe with her and relax into her loving care. Yeah, the part where it says set aside your ritualized habits and beliefs, your person is very resistant to change. Very resistant to change. Something may have happened. I don't know if this is in regards to your past or just their past in general. Again, it's a collective love reading. But it's almost like your person telling themselves, I've learned my lesson. I'm not doing that again. Okay. And they put up all kinds of defenses to keep them as emotionally and mentally distant from you as possible. And so, yeah, with I'm distracted, and then with let's spend more quality time together showing up underneath the world, this is your person running away from this connection. Putting limits on the amount of quality time together that they wanted to spend, and yes, it does say here that they do want to spend more quality time with you, but they never let that happen, right? And so there could be, or there at least was, some kind of an inner struggle, an inner push and pull going on with your person. Let me look at, let's see, not quite what I'm looking for in a life partner, and that's showing up right underneath the Seven of Wands. That could have been a defense mechanism your person was telling themselves in order to keep you at arm's length, you in this connection, so that you didn't make it past, their inner defenses, right? With the Seven of Cups here, that's them just not seeing things clearly. They're looking at things through the lens of an abandonment wound, or through the lens of attachment issues. And if they have any kind of an insecure attachment style, they're not seeing anything clearly because their nervous system is too busy pulling up triggers and blocks and kicking dust in their eyes, so they can't see things clearly, because that's their nervous system's way of keeping them quote unquote safe, right? Not that you are not a safe space for them, but they just equate vulnerability and letting people in as a threat. And so, they'll do things that keep them, they'll do things and they'll tell themselves things to keep things very much on the surface level, to keep things confusing, and they'll do things to make things as complicated as possible. And they don't understand and realize that they're the ones that are doing it, right? This is very much, one of the messages coming through Pile 2. It's like, it's not you, Pile 2, it's me. Hi, it's me, I'm the problem. If they were being honest and if they knew what was happening here. Tell me about not quite what I'm looking for in a life partner, showing up right underneath the Seven of Wands. Again, yeah, see, being clarified by the Seven of Wands again. This is a defense mechanism. This is them leaving you before you can leave them. But it's even more drastic and dire than that. It's like, I'm not even going to let you get that close to me. We're not even going to get this off the ground. It's like, your person could be so afraid of rejection, Pile 2, that they won't even let things get started. You know what? It's coming more through as a fear of failure. That's what it is. Because they're even afraid to put seed in the ground. Because it's like, what if it fails? What if it's bad seed? Or what if it's, what if it's a dud? Something like that. And so, it's one of those things. I know it's easier said than done, but however this person may have been showing up or not showing up, or treating you or not treating you, it was completely, their own thing. It's like, not to take it personally, not to make it mean anything about you and your value. And you don't even know, what was really true and what wasn't, because this person was looking through the lens of something telling them that they needed, that they basically need to stay single, or if they're going to be in a connection with somebody, it has to be someone in a connection that really just doesn't hold a lot of influence over them. Okay. That's why your person kept themselves distracted, possibly just with other things. It's not necessarily saying third parties, but let's see. Tell me more about I'm distracted. But all of this is coming up as like defense mechanisms, like your person is keeping themselves distracted as a way to bypass the urge to build something, okay? Your person is very much afraid. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of failing. So they won't even start because they're afraid of, you know, a failure. Tell me about I'm distracted. Yeah. They're distracting themselves with things that slow this connection down, or that's what they did, okay? With the Eight of Wands in the reverse. That's a stalling mechanism. The Eight of Wands in the reverse can literally talk about stalling, delaying, throwing up obstacles. But again, it's coming up in a sense of like, you know, not to say that your person wakes up every day and consciously chooses, you know, to be distracted by other things. But that could be your person's subconscious and their nervous system creating things in the 3D that, you know, throw, you know, wrenches in the engine of your guys' connection. You know, manifesting things in the 3D that serve as obstacles and confusion and illusion and stuff like that. Because, you know, that's your person's way of keeping, or I should say their nervous system's way of keeping them safe. Again, if they don't start something with someone that can hold a lot of influence over them, they don't run the risk of failure. They don't run the risk of, you know, being abandoned. They don't run the risk of getting too attached and stuff like that, okay? Haunted by the past. Tell me about that. Ooh, okay, might be some tea. We got a Queen of Wands energy here. This can be a specific person, somebody that they were really attracted to, or just somebody that was very magnetizing. Could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag. Feminine energy here showing up. This could be that, what are we haunted by when it, you know, regarding this Queen of Wands energy here? They're showing me heartbreak. There's heartbreak associated with this Queen of Wands energy. Things not working out. There's the King of Wands. Wow. Yeah, this was, you know, a time in their life when they were with somebody that felt like their perfect match. What happened between the King and the Queen of Wands here? And that's something else that's coming up. There's a couple of messages coming through. Pile 2, if you aren't the Queen of Wands here, if this haunted by the past energy isn't your past with your person, there's energies here where you remind your person very much of that past person. And anybody else in terms of like chemistry, in terms of like similar interests, you know, your person felt like, and the energy is here, like they genuinely were a match. You know, the person from the past is a Queen of Wands in the upright position. Your person's coming through as the King of Wands in the upright position. This was a real, authentic match. You know, it wasn't just something that they projected, but something may have happened between the two of them where that didn't work out. And so now, you know, there's an energy here of your person. You know, you might remind them of that person in terms of like how well you guys get along, the common interests that you share, the chemistry that you share. And so, you know, rather than allow themselves to really click with you and bond with you, you know, their nervous system is kicking up things and creating fears and creating doubts and even making things happen in the 3D that is lying to your person effectively, saying, no, that's all in your head. You know, pile 2 is not your perfect match. Here's all, you know, here's all the reasons, right? And a lot of those times, if you've followed me on this channel, anytime somebody has attachment issues, the nervous system, if it doesn't have things to legitimately attach to in terms of like proof and evidence, it'll literally make shit up. Okay, I just want you guys to understand that, because there is kind of an energy here coming through pile 2 that if you're not this person's ex, or if you're not the Queen of Wands, then, you know, it's like you remind them. There's something about your guys' bond and connection that can remind them of that past person, that past relationship, that past connection. And, you know, they may have, even if it was subconsciously, made a deal with themselves that they were never going to go through that again. And so they block out any kind of a connection with somebody where the bond and the connection could be genuine, okay? Well, I'm going to say, you know, with them saying that you're not quite what they're looking for in a life partner, whether or not that's authentic, whether or not that's true, your person believes that. And even if that's the lens, and that lens is not a clear representation of what your guys' connection actually is, they're unable currently, because they are, you know, under the spell of whatever this belief is, this attachment issue is, or this abandonment wound is. They can't see past that. And so, you know, they might just be in the habit of hyper fixating on what they think the two of you don't have in common versus looking at the things that the two of you do have in common. You know, again, they're breaking their own heart, is what the message that came through earlier. And it's coming from them. And the reason, not the reason, the way they're breaking their own heart is, it's like they're, you know, they were given a second chance, you know, at maybe making that past, you know, situation not atoning for it, but, you know, having a do-over. And that could be literal for some of you. You know, there could be a chance here at a second chance, especially if that past person, you know, that they're haunted by the past by is you. And they're breaking their own heart because they're not taking it. Because honestly, pile 2, they're not seeing it clearly. They're not seeing it for what it is. All right. Last thing, tell me more about, let's spend more quality time together, showing up underneath the world, and then we'll close your guys' reading. This is almost energies of freeing you up, you know. I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot of attachment coming through in your person's energy when it comes to you in this connection. And I do feel like that's on purpose and by design. You know, your person's nervous system is working against this connection rather than for it. And so with let's spend quality time together, showing up underneath the world, which can talk about, you know, completion and closing up cycles and stuff. It's almost like your person's saying, you know, freeing you up so that you can spend time with, you know, maybe somebody else that has the space and the nervous system calibrated to give you and them, you know, an experience that you're wanting, the person that you might end up with. But, you know, this is your person not necessarily wanting to hold you, you know, not wanting you to keep yourself on a shelf. You know, they're not just, you know, that might be how they're treating this connection, but they're not necessarily telling you, you know, to hold up, to wait for them or anything like that. There's an energy here where if you decide to, you know, let this connection go and walk away and maybe go give somebody else a chance, they understand it. It's like there's not an attachment or an aversion either way. Your person, you know, just isn't able to give you what you want at this point in time. And honestly, it doesn't feel like there's even a desire there. All right, pile 2. God, I'm sorry for that kind of a message. You know, I know that these have the tendency to come through this way. And, you know, I never like to leave things on, you know, a more challenging note. And so, you know, if this kicked up any kind of triggers or if it's making you feel any type of a way, you know, I understand. I've been there before. Just do me a favor. If you don't know how to do shadow work, if you don't know how to mentally and emotionally detach from, you know, a connection, any kind of a connection. Part of that is grieving, right? But you don't want to stay camped out there. And so just go check my other channel. It's called Pure Godfidence. There's a couple of videos linked in the description box, though, that'll help you get started. The first one is how to stop manifesting separation. And then the second video is the process by which to do that, called Releasing the Wants. And that will help you, deal with any kind of triggers. I'm not saying that, this means you're never going to be with this person. This is just a snapshot of energy, right? Things can always change, and they often do, right? Having an experience that you want from a manifestation standpoint does require, to do the shadow work that's involved, that could be acting as a barrier between you and, manifesting whatever you're wanting, the experiences that you're wanting to have. All right, you guys. Anyway, thank you so much again. If you got from this reading what you came here for, smash the like button. It's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below. Let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it resonated. Become part of the family simply by subscribing, and don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. Pile 2, I'll see you guys at your next pick a card love reading. Bye, guys. Pile 3, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. We're doing another pick a card love reading. Tapping in and channeling through your person's messages to you. So just keep in mind, it's a collective love reading, so whatever resonates, claim it, do whatever you want with it. If something isn't quite landing, just drop that bit of information or that message and leave it behind for whomever it might resonate with. I have personal readings available if you want me to tap exclusively into you and your person's connection. Just check the description box below. All the booking details are there. There's a lot of readings available in the specific person category. Many of them are just $25, so go check them out. All right, so you guys were drawn to the Angel Aura Amethyst cluster and the Flirt card. Let's see what's going on, y'all. Let's see your person's overall message. We got Green Man here with synergy. So your person is acknowledging, pile 3, that the two of you kind of have like a natural chemistry together, a natural kind of like a flow. There's a natural flow or a chemistry to your guys' connection. There may be a lot of banter that can go back and forth. There's just something about the two of you, pile 3, that your person is acknowledging. It just works. It just works between the two of you. And all right, we got the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. We have the Hierophant in the reverse, and then we have the Two of Swords in the upright position. Your person, I'm picking up on some stubborn energy. They may have a difficult time, with change. They could have a lot of fixed energy in their chart, which is going to be what? Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. They may not be the best at multitasking. They could have very much a one-track mind. And so it could be them, and this could be them acknowledging. You guys have this just natural flow between the two of you, and they have a tendency to kind of get in the middle of that, right? They have a tendency to disrupt the natural flow that's between the two of you. There's attraction here, certainly with Flirt, okay? They're showing me an image of somebody like on fire and being doused with like water, trying to put the fire out. But that's coming from a space of fear. They have a fear of not being able to control maybe their feelings for you, and so they tend to, maybe kind of subconsciously rebel against your guys' connection as a way to, quote unquote, water things down. There's also something coming through that your person is saying caught them off guard. They weren't expecting something. They weren't expecting you, or they weren't expecting, to have the feelings or at least the experiences that they do when they're with you. There's something not traditional You know, this could be more of like a situationship or a friends with benefits, or there's just something, you know, that doesn't quite conform to tradition when it comes to your guys' connection. And it almost feels like, you know, that feels like it's coming from their end and they're doing that on purpose. It's like they're kind of complicating things and they don't need to. Like if they would just leave things alone, things could like flow naturally, but that's the problem. It's like your person may have this thing where it's, they might fear, again, you know, they're afraid of maybe losing control or being overtaken by, you know, the passion between they're afraid of getting burned. We'll put it that way. Literally, that's what they're afraid of, getting burned. Okay. Let's see. Pile three's person. Show me their energy as it's influencing. I'm not ready. Yeah. As it's influencing their messages to pile three, please. They weren't ready for this connection, and they don't, quite frankly, what's coming through is they're not even really quite sure what to do with it. They don't know quite sure how to factor this connection in, or even if they can. There's a lot of questions coming up in your person's energy when it comes to this connection. Not necessarily confusion as much as it is just trying to figure something out. God, it's not even that. With the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, it literally feels like where can I fit this in? How do I fit this in? They're saying they figured out what they need to figure out. Now it's logistics. Like how do we do this, right? Pile three, their messages to pile three, please. This is true love. But look at the, yeah, see, we were moving too fast. Okay, that's exactly what I was picking up on. Back of the deck, yikes. So this is saying a love triangle, you, me, and a third party. Okay, that might be where the confusion is coming in, because, you know, there's a third party in here. For many of you, it is a love triangle. Okay. But your person is pointing to you and to this connection as what they feel with you is genuine. It's real love, okay? And that might be why they're having such a difficult time, because it wasn't expected. And they may have kind of committed themselves to some kind of a path that pre-existed your guys' connection. And now it's throwing everything off balance. Let me read what the green man has to say. Synergy, green man synergy. It says you have the advantage of an incredible synergy at this time. Yeah, there's a love triangle here. There's a third party here for many of you. And it is one of those things where your person, though, is noticing, you know, there is kind of a thing of them comparing. And your guys' connection keeps winning out. Like, yeah, because it says you have the advantage of an incredible synergy at this time. And I'm seeing 3 points, and it's like, you know, yeah, I'm seeing the love triangle, and it's between you and someone else, pile three, and they're saying you're like winning out, okay? There's something about your guys' connection that just works better, flows better. It's just natural, like what you and your person have is natural, as opposed to, who, you know, whatever they got going on with someone else. What I'm hearing, it feels more manufactured on that side. It doesn't feel genuine. It feels more like, you know, it just, you know, there's something about their connection with the third party that does work, but it's weird because it's not necessarily coming from an energetic level. Like it looks good on paper. It's one of those things, right? Oh, okay, I see. The other connection, your person is kind of seeing it as safe. You know, the bond between you and your person, for some reason, it is kind of kicking up red flags when it comes to your person, but it feels more like because of how you influence your person to feel. you know, let me see. I'm not going to let this be like a third party reading, but it is coming through because it has something to do with influencing their messages to you. Okay, what's pile 3 versus the third party, please? Ooh, they're having a hard time picking. Okay. They're not ready to commit to either side yet. That's why your person is kind of like in a, what do they call that? A stalemate. This is crossroads energy. Like your person knows they're needing to choose between you and someone else. And they are noticing like the reason why they're having a difficult time choosing is because they're clocking pros and cons equally on both sides. Now, the natural chemistry, the natural passion, there's just something that works better with you intrinsically than it does with the third party. But something for your person makes enough sense with the third party. They're having a hard time, you know, choosing either or, right? Because both of you guys, we got Judgment in the reverse for you, and then we got King of Pentacles in the reverse for the third party. There is more, your person would feel more of a loss letting you go versus if they let the third party go, but still there's something, and it may be financial. There may be something financial going on that is linking your person to the third party. Them and the third party could be somehow materialistically and or financially or something combined, like you know, finances that make it kind of tricky for your person to separate from, you know, a third party energy here. And I'll be honest, there's kind of a question coming through in your person's energy of wondering whether or not they should let both of you guys go. Okay, your person is kind of feeling in between a rock and a hard space, but that's not to say that, you know, they do see the two of you as being more of a better match. Again, they're looking at you as like what the two of you have is real love. Versus what they got with the third party, which feels more, again, feels more manufactured, right? They're with the third party based off of the way it looks, how good it looks on paper, versus, you know, you, where it's like the two of you just get along better. You have more natural interests in common. It's just easier. It's effortless between the two of you. Tell me about we were moving too fast. And that's literally why they blocked this connection out, or they do things that seem to delay progress, if not block it out altogether, is because things were moving too fast, at least to them, okay? Tell me about we were moving too fast. Yeah, the King of Cups, they were falling in love too fast with the King of Cups showing up in the reverse. They weren't ready for it again. It's that image they're showing me of somebody being on fire. They're afraid of getting burned, okay? I mean, yeah, they could be burned by the third party, but it doesn't feel like they're going to be burned on an emotional level so much as they might be burned like on a financial level. You know, their pocketbook or their bank account might take a hit. As opposed to, you know, it's like their heart and their soul would take a hit if they were to separate from you. Tell me about I'm not ready. Your person is like wanting to see, they're very afraid of the depths of your guys' connection, the depth of the influence that you could have over them and over their life, which is why they're kind of in this energy of just wanting to be and maintain more of a superficial, even a lighthearted and flirtatious energy when it comes between the two of you. Some of you may not have even, you know, gone there with your person in terms of, you know, physical intimacy. Not to say that they don't want to, but there's something here about your person being very afraid of moving this connection into a more committed territory, but that feels like it's coming like because if they were to do that, they'd have to block off a whole other pathway that they're not quite ready yet to do, okay? I'm hearing collateral damage. There would be some collateral. Yeah, I feel like that would be both on all accounts, though. Like if they block you out and choose the other person, then you would be the collateral damage. Or if they choose you and they block out the other person, you know, there'd be some collateral damage that would be associated with that. Tell me about I'm not ready. they're saying it's not necessarily that they're not taking this connection seriously. It's just they're approaching it from more of a logistical, common sense, like, what, yes, I acknowledge we have this connection and we have this bond and we got this natural flow and all these interests, and it's just, me and pile 3 makes sense, but it's complicated. It's kind of that energy. And then we got the 8. For some of you, you're not. Either you haven't had sex with your person or you're not currently having sex with this person. This could also just talk about your person not being ready to fully immerse themselves or surrender themselves to the spark and the chemistry and the passion that you and your person have. They just may not be ready to reignite things between the two of you. Your person is very afraid of fanning those flames. There's attraction here, but I'm having a hard time like really feeling into it because your person is blocking it out. Okay. Literally, we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse, and then we have the 8 of Wands in the reverse. And I keep seeing that image of, your person on fire and wanting to like roll around in water. They're not necessarily, they're just afraid of being burned. And so that's what they're saying. And literally, they're like, I'm not ready to be burned. I'm not ready to just let this thing, to just let it go. Your person may have a control problem. They might have control issues, but it's stemming from a space of fear, a fear of getting burned. Okay. Tell me about the Hierophant in the reverse, and then we will close your guys' reading. Ooh, can't show it. Well, I got the Devil here in the reverse, okay? Yeah, this could very much be symbolic of because we have both of these archetypes showing up in the reverse. We got the Hierophant in the reverse, but we also have the Devil showing up in the reverse. So this is what Taurus energy, Capricorn energy. So, yeah, we have all 3 earth signs here with, let's see, Taurus with the 2 of Pentacles. Yeah, earth signs heavy in this energy. And this could just be indicative of your person needing to ground more. I almost feel like that's subconsciously what they're trying to do, but they're doing it in the wrong way, right? There's an acknowledgement here that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fire, a lot of desire, a lot of attraction between the two of you. Something, though, really makes your person feel uncomfortable. They think about fire and passion and getting lost in it, and then they automatically go to, like, they're going to be overtaken by it, swept up by it, to a point of no longer being able to control it. So, I mean, they are in some way trying to ground, the fiery passion between the two of you, but they're going about it the wrong way, right? Rather than just submitting to the connection and maybe putting up some boundaries, or maybe have, putting up some expectations, or allowing themselves to just kind of take one step at a time. They're almost like putting the brakes on it, or, sabotaging it, or, different ways that feels like they're trying to ground it, but they're not going about it the right way. But when it comes to you in this connection, there's a part of your person that very much wants to, revel in it, go headlong into it, dive into it, surrender to it. And then there's another part of them where it's like, no, we're not doing that. Right? We're not doing that. Your person is very much afraid of maybe getting addicted to this connection. They could have fears of codependency, becoming too dependent on somebody. There's not so much of a fear maybe financially depending on somebody, as much as there's a fear of mentally and emotionally depending on somebody, okay? But yeah, pile 3, that was your reading. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. If you got from this reading what you came here for, do me a favor, smash the like button for me. It's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below, let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it resonated. Become part of the family simply by subscribing. Don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. Pile 3, I'll see you guys at your next pick a card love reading. Bye guys.